Right. So, hello.
Hi.
How are you doing? The first thing that I've been asking everyone just to start these conversations off, just because I know that Black people are going through a lot right now, things are heavy. How are you doing? How's your spirit? How are you coping? Just in general, how are you?
I'd say, um, against everything that's going on, I would definitely say I'm in a hopeful mood because I don't want to segregate what's happening in America because it happens everywhere. Like, let's be real. But I'm excited for the fact that if we focus on the women and the industries that are happening in the UK, there's a lot of hope. A lot of people are achieving their goals. A lot of people are leveling up. A lot of people are starting. And so it's just an exciting space, an exciting time to be involved and to like witness things grow from pillar to pillar. Like, it's amazing. I'm really excited.
Yeah, and I think it's taken me a while, but because I'm still like feeling pretty heavy about, obviously we've heard what happened to Breonna Taylor yesterday, and
Yeah.
just in general, just hearing these stories every day, I'm still feeling pretty heavy. But like you say, at the same time, even when I was looking at the list of people I'm doing these interviews with, just to
Yeah.
see so many young Black women who are just doing things and trying to take up space and trying to make their presence known, like in the way I was thinking, like while I was doing this, because honestly yesterday I was going through it. I was just like, I give up, I don't care anymore, like I'm done. And I just had that moment where I was like, okay, Brianna didn't get justice, and do it for her. Like, you can't give up because her life was cut short. Don't let yours be cut short also by what's going on. So I definitely agree with you in the sense of, yes, it's heavy, but seeing the moves being made within the community is just inspiring, to be honest.
You can't help but focus on the positive as well. Like,
Honestly, yeah.
if anything, it's just is stronger because it really does drive us. Like, if not, like you said, we'd all be just sat around like hopeless, feeling some type of way. But yeah, it's good.
100%, yeah. And that kind of leads me very perfectly into my first question, because obviously I'm saying it's about celebrating what the moves that we're making as a community, and I'm here talking to someone who's making moves in the community.
Yeah.
So I just want to hear all about Siliki&Co. How did you start it? Why did you start it? How's it been running your own business? How's it going? This is your time to brag, queen. Just
Well, there's a lot of questions. Like when you ask me the question, I'm like, okay, let me break this down. So I'm gonna start off with like just a little bit more about me as a person, because I feel like when I was younger, society makes you feel like you just need to do one thing and that's you for life.
yeah.
I've never been like that. I've always been the person that's like a jack of all trades. Like, I've never been perfect at anything. Like, I like to try things. I like to move on. I like to, like, I'm a project-based person. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So for me, that's meant I've got a lot of skills that I've learned, and I still like to learn and like kind of get better at photography, editing, um video styles and like aesthetics and fashion and makeup and beauty, things like that. Like, all the things that I always learn about, but I'm like, how do I encompass this into one career? Because you do fashion and then you're boxed, and I don't do well with shapes. I don't do well. So I
We're
don't want to
fluid
be,
out here.
yeah, I want to be everyone, I want to be gone with the wind. So what that kind of looked like to me in a professional sense, I actually started construction, having studied law. And the reason why I did that was because it's such a tangible industry. Like,
Yeah.
you can see something from drawings and then you see it getting built and then you see the finished product and you're like, wow, like, I didn't build the brick by brick, but I was involved.
Yeah.
I wanted something like that for myself, something that I can say that I've earned and I passed down and things like that. And for me, I still didn't even know what that was. So I started looking within and questioning, what is it that motivates you creatively? What is it that you can apply your kind of academia, like your finances, you can apply your project management, you can apply everything like that. Like, what is that? What does that look like? And for me, that is how Siliki&Co came about. I'm somebody I love hair, and I've always loved hair, and I didn't want to actually get entangled with like selling weaves and extensions, only because for me, the moment I started getting obsessed with wearing weaves, I started forgetting that I actually have my own hair. So I would just be washing my hair, braiding it up, putting my wig on. If I wanted to go out and look pretty, what am I doing? I'm wearing a wig. No. So I kind of grew out of that and became more intentional with utilizing my own hair. It's not to say that obviously girls that are wearing weaves and stuff like that, like, they ain't doing that. They can do that. But it's just, I love the versatility of our hair and what we can get out of it. So I wanted to kind of switch. Again, like I switch a lot. So I wanted to switch and do something for my own natural hair and see how that can come across. And then that's how I came up with these beautiful products.
Hold them up. Let's do some showcasing.
Okay, let's showcase. What do I do that?
Yeah.
I don't know how to do this stuff. But here we have our length retention oil. It was one of my first products. Here's the scalp therapy oil. Okay, and then here is actually a third product that I hope to be coming out in the coming months.
Yes.
You know, watch the space, as they say.
Yeah.
But what I really wanted to get out of SilikiandCo is to create a brand, an identity, which is about relaxing, winding down, and also kind of being there for our community. I don't want to just be like a point of sales thing. I wanted to expand, and I hope to see SilikiandCo kind of help in entrepreneurship for young ladies across all industries and all type of job roles. I also hope to give back to the community in the sense that of kind of like domestic abuse and homelessness and things like that. And I want all of that to be interwoven into SilikiandCo because that's the type of person that I am. I want to give back. I can't have all of this for myself. It's unnecessary. And my purpose, the way that I've seen it, is to help others. And so that's how I want the brand to kind of evolve and become. Yeah, if that answers the question, really. Yeah,
that did answer. But like, obviously, diving back into the business and SilikiandCo, for me, the thing that I kind of, because obviously you gave me a sample when we first met, and I loved it, by the way. Like, I'm still using it now, and as soon as it finishes, I'm trying to order like 10, 15 more. The thing that really shocked me when I was using it was the fact that this is a product that it's not just like an accident. You don't accidentally create something that's good for someone's hair. There's research involved, there's understanding, so is that, how much of your time does that take? Is that something that you enjoy within the business, doing all the research? And how kind of involved is it to get to the final stage where you have that little product in a bottle? How does that journey come about?
Do you know, it comes across as, okay, what do I want to make? And then it starts from there. Like, once I know what I want to make, I go all the way back. So I'm not the type of person that, like, some people work backwards, whereas like they'll have a product and then they'll figure out how to do things off. But me, I have to be like, okay, well, what's the first step? So when it comes to me even fabricating this oil and formulating it and having everything in at its right percentage, I had to look up and research the products. I had to look up, why is it better to have organic things? Like, everything is put on a label nowadays. Everything is a marketing term. Like, I had to educate myself and sit down and be like, okay, this is actually beneficial because it's organic, and this is why, and this and this and this is why. Everything needs a why. I was a baby when it came to researching that why. Like, if it doesn't make sense, help me make sense so that I'm not regurgitating something that I don't believe in. So when it comes to me making a formula, I sit down for hours. Really? Just staring. I've got tabs on tabs on tabs. I start creating folders and subfolders and subdivisions of the folders. I want to know.
Some MI5 stuff going on.
Yes, I want to know. And then it takes like ages, like when I'm formulating and actually trialing and erroring. And then it's like, once you've done that, it's like, oh, okay, this can work. And then you get so excited. It's like, oh, mum, like, oh my gosh, like, no, mum, like, look at my scrub. My scrub is scrubbing. My scrub is scrubbing, mum, look. And then it's like, once you get there, then you think about the packaging. That's how I do it. I have to get a product first and then package it afterwards. So it takes, ages to do the research. Like, the internet is there. You utilize it. Utilize everything to your fullest capacity. Yeah. And I like how I'm not shy of like interacting with people as well. I feel like if I need help, I'm gonna go out and ask somebody for their help. Yeah. I'm gonna obviously return something to them, like whether it's a relationship, because in business it doesn't need to be lonely. Like I am one for building relationships with people. Like, I don't know why I would want to do it by myself. I want to create relationships across the board and things like that. So that's also been quite helpful, whether it be marketing and things like that. Or, just talking.
And I think to me that's so encouraging, because a lot of the time, like, more and more we're realizing how important a Black person's hair journey is to them, because obviously we've all gone through the phases of, like, you know, relaxing our hair till it was falling out. And so a Black woman, especially, our hair journey is so important to us. And to know that you're someone who is investing so much time in the products you give, rather than just saying that, oh, Black women's hair, that's a big market to make money, let me just put out whatever it is I can, just trying to make money. No, you're taking your time to understand your products, understand the market, understand the people you are serving. And to me, that's just such an encouraging thing to hear, coming from a hair care business owner.
Yeah, 100%.
And also, like, I find it very interesting that you were saying about how you don't have to do it all by yourself, because I actually had an interview yesterday with Yezi, you know Yezi, and I was talking to her yesterday about the exact same thing, about how a lot of the time in our community there's this kind of desire to want to struggle by yourself, to prove that you've made it all by yourself, and to kind of have this badge of saying, I struggled, I hustled, I did it by myself.
When people kind of like adopt that type of mentality, I don't want it. I don't like it. I don't know why anyone's glamorizing work. Like, let's be real.
Honestly,
I want to do the work with as little to no stress as possible. Okay, I want the what do they say? I want like the end product. I don't necessarily need to have beaten, battered, bruised. I don't need that. Like, it shouldn't be that hard.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I think we're in such a time when, not just in our community, but I think in general, people love to glamorize the struggle, and they love to I like always seeing like posts like, oh, don't sleep if you want to get to where you get in, or have 10,000 jobs at the same time, otherwise you're not a real hustler. And it's like, why do we love to struggle? Like,
I don't like the self-made badge. Like, I know obviously our generation is very much so self-made, but I don't want my child to say that they're self-made. Please,
I made.
I helped, please. Like, I helped you. Like, so I definitely understand how it can be quite transformative to say that you're self-made, because when you truly are self-made, it is an inspiration, because there's too many people that are starting from that. But the moment that you acknowledge that you've had help, or you have the means to opportunities that other people have not, just acknowledge that. Like, it's okay. It's okay.
There's absolutely nothing wrong with having had help. And I think that's for us as a community, I think that's something that we really need to tackle within our community, is just this idea of, when you create something that's beautiful and that's successful, share it and help open doors for other people. It does not need to be this self-struggle all the time. It really doesn't, because when you look at Apple, Google, they're all sharing and buying and helping each other out. So let's start doing the same within our community.
Yeah, let's go to sleep, have our 8 hours, let's have our rest, sleep.
Eat our 3 meals a day.
Yeah. Goodness, like, oh.
I think with that being said also then, so what is, for you, what do you find to be the most rewarding thing about SilikiandCo? And also on top of that, what is kind of like the biggest struggle with SilikiandCo, owning your own business and that kind of thing?
I think the most rewarding thing is, as I'm quite a new and small business, it will definitely be the sales. It will be the sales. You know, the money, that's quite rewarding, because I'm not at a stage yet where I want to implement all of my ethoses just yet. Like, when I've done that, I'll be tremendously over the moon. But for now, it's definitely the sales. It's like, wow, people are actually, they're not buying it because they're just buying it. Like, they're buying it because it's like something that they want. I'm like, wow.
And I get that, because I remember the other day when you posted this sold out, that one of your products was sold out. I remember going and seeing that, and I was so happy for you. Like, my soul was just so happy for you, because I was like, he had the courage to start something, and it's paying off and it's working. And I definitely like can see that as being something that, because as much as we like to say, you know, it's not all about the money, it is a validating part of being a person in business.
100%. It's an achievement that could definitely be seen as an achievement in business. Like, we've always got targets and goals to aspire to, but on the flip side, I think that the most thing that I struggle with, which I'm actually better in, I think I'm overcoming that day by day, is the pressures and time constraints that I put on myself. So seeing that everything is so new to me, every day is like learning. Like even to Google something, I have to Google how to Google it. So no, because it really is like that. Because you might be typing thinking that, oh, this is what I want to know. It's not what you want to know. You don't need to know that right now. Okay, I need to Google how to Google what I want to find out. Okay? That's what I'm doing right now. So
I'm about to stop this interview. I'm done with you.
But it's the truth. It's the truth. And so like something that I foreseen to have taken me an hour does not take an hour. And I constantly have to meditate. Rome was not built in a day.
Yeah.
Because I think that I can achieve 12 things on my to-do list on a Monday.
Yeah.
I can't.
Yeah.
I can't. That's going to take several weeks to do. That's going to take the entire day to do. And that's just going to be on one task. And I need to be okay with it taking that long, because I don't know what it is about me, but I'm very like, oh, okay, but like, surely that should just take 1 minute. I actually think I'm a professional in every single thing that I'm doing. I'm not, okay? I have little to barely.
We gotta learn sometimes.
Yeah, I'm learning as I'm going along, and sometimes I feel like I have the experience of someone who's been doing it for 10 years, and I don't. I accept that now.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. But sometimes I feel like, especially when you are someone who's starting a venture, that kind of, I'm going to call it delusional self-confidence, is needed sometimes. Sometimes you have to be able to say to yourself, sometimes you have to have that confidence of, like you're saying, someone who's been in it for 10 years, because sometimes it's scary coming up against something you've never done before.
Yeah,
and the easier option is to just run away when we're starting these ventures. Sometimes you just have to be like, no, I can do it.
Yeah. It's a bit weird because it's like, in the morning I could be like, I can do this, and in the afternoon I'm like, I don't want to do that because I'm scared. I don't want to do it because I'm worried. I don't know. So that's just like, I go through a lot of emotions in one day and just to do one task, and I think that's maybe been the most
challenging.
Yeah, the most challenging thing. Yeah. But as every day goes along, I have my partner who's very supportive of me every day. Babe, this
do it.
Yeah, like I feel like overwhelmed. So once I realized that I shouldn't let it get to me, I also remind myself like no one's really watching like that. Like, don't give yourself the pressure of like someone's going to die if you don't do this. Like, everyone's fine. So
yeah, and I also think, and this is something that's come up with kind of everyone, because all of you, who I'm interviewing, are all people who've had the courage and the kind of will to start something from scratch. And I think a lot of the time, as people who have started something from scratch, we see it kind of from our perspective of, we want it to do this straight away, and if it doesn't do this straight away, sometimes we convince ourselves that it's useless or there's no point of starting it. And also, especially that we live in this world of like where it's all about likes and how many people are following you and all that kind of stuff. Who's sharing your post? Who's liking your post? Am I getting 6,000 likes on my post? And sometimes that can discourage you when you're not getting those numbers and you're saying to yourself, well, is it worth it what I'm doing? So I think for everyone, I've been trying to find out how everyone kind of copes with, we live in such a kind of like clout chasing validation world where it's just about likes and numbers of followers, and how do you deal within your own self to kind of bring yourself to a space where either that doesn't matter to you or you deal with it in yourself? How do you deal with that?
I don't care what people think, because no one's doing it for me and no one knows. And I've learned that, like, putting aside my business, but you just learn that the older you get, it's like no one actually knows your struggle. Similarly, you don't know what someone else is going through. Therefore, I literally stay in my lane. I've got folders on my phone where it's like, it literally says Sarah against Sarah. And I'm the one that sets the goals, and I'm the one who has to beat them.
I love that.
Once you focus on other people, yeah, you're right. You start diluting yourself of thinking that somebody else's achievements are your achievements, or somebody else's goals are your goals. And that's not the case. Like, whatever's destined for you, that's when it's gonna happen for you. And I don't want to, obviously I set goals and things like that, but like, always remember that if you don't achieve them, that's fine. Like, you do your best, and as long as I'm using my time to where I can say like, I've tried, I am trying, I'm happy with the results. Because it's not going to come around today, it's not going to come around in a week or a day, but when it does happen, I can say that I really did put my all in it, and no one can tell me that I didn't, or I was this and that and the other. Like, it's not going to matter. So Sarah v Sarah. That's my approach.
I love that. You are your own competition. Everyone else is irrelevant.
Yeah.
Absolutely love that. And then that being said, then I know you touched on this a little bit before.
Mm.
Where do you see Siliki going? And because I know you said that you don't want it to just be hair care.
Yeah.
You want it to. So where do you see yourself in 5 years, in 10 years? Where is this going?
Definitely. Do you know what? I want to have subsidiaries. SilikiandCo needs to be like a parent company to a charity, hopefully, which is specifically focused on Black women. In the UK, I'm very big on Black British women as well.
Yeah.
Our pool can seem quite small, so it's like the impact is not as significant, but I want it to be significant. I want it to be in your face.
Yes.
Like, proper. And then also, that's kind of like entrepreneurship side, isn't it? I also want to dwell into SilikiandCo being a parent company to kind of like more charitable products. So anything to do with women involved in domestic violence or having financial hardships or homelessness and things like that, like getting back onto their feet. In our community, we can be definitely seen as the strong women who don't ever get any help. So I want to take down that brave face and really focus on what it is that we need and nurture that. And SilikiandCo as a standalone business, hopefully we're in blogs, we're a household name, like we're somebody that you pick up and it's like, oh yeah, have you got that conditioner? Yes, you've got that conditioner. Oh yeah. And I want it to be like something that really focuses on the self-care of our consumers. A lot of the time, it can feel like we're being used for our wallet. Like it can be like, yeah, it can just feel like that. And I want to eradicate that feeling in my brand. I want when you come to the brand and you see the books that we've made or you see the products that we've curated, you see your story in those. And I want to have that expressed through its art. I want to have that expressed through events, through the products. I want that just to be interwoven into what SilikiandCo is all about. And that's where I hopefully want it to be in 5 years' time. That is literally how you talk about the brand SilikiandCo.
And that in itself, that's like you're manifesting right there. You're saying it out there, you're putting it out there. And yeah. I think it's going back to that. And this is why I think conversations like this are so important. Just hearing you say those things and the big dreams that you've got for yourself. I am here and I'm rooting for you. And I'm like, I want to see her do this. I want to help if I can help. I want to support. This really is uplifting to me to hear that women who look like me have these big dreams. And we're literally trying to create so much in a world that is constantly telling us that actually no, you don't deserve anything. We're trying to say, hang on a minute, no, you deserve everything
and more. The bar is
high, up there. So yeah. That being said then, and I think you kind of just answered this in what you've just said, do you feel as though in today's political climate and kind of the things that are happening to Black people, to women, to Black women, do you feel that the space that SilikiandCo occupies and the product that you present or the way in which you do business or whatever, do you feel like you're making a statement? Do you feel like it's a form of activism, you taking up the space that you're taking up?
Do you know what? This is a bittersweet response because yes, I don't want it to be a form of activism because it should just be the norm. But from literally how society is run, this is a brand that is actively speaking up against those things. There's things, the Tory Lane situation, do not get me started, okay? The Dr. Dre divorce, do not get me started. I just don't even understand it. I don't want to understand it. So it's like when you have a brand which is literally the polar opposite to what people are accepted of and what people are, is just the way it is, people will see and be like, oh, you're rebelling. And I'm like, no. Like this is literally how it should be, okay? And you just get on with it. Like I'm creating my new norm.
Yeah.
So it's a bit sad to say that we're creating a new norm, even though it should be normal. But so I guess it would be a form of activism because people don't like loud, outspoken, Black British women. People don't like that, okay? People don't. But here we are, outspoken, loud,
chopping it up. And I think especially with, it's so weird to think that hair care is a form of activism, because right now we're seeing it everywhere, where as Black people we've been told for so long, do this to your hair, it looks unprofessional, it's messy,
Yes.
straight, put a wig on. But for you to be, to me, the fact that you're championing our natural hair and saying, let's start looking after our natural hair, let's start wearing our natural hair and being proud of our natural hair, that is a political statement in its very self, which, like you say, it's bittersweet, because why is our hair a political statement? But at the same, it shouldn't be, but at the same time, it's time that we did make it a political statement, and we did say, actually, we're reclaiming the thing that you tell us to hate about ourselves. We're going to start looking after it. We're going to start wearing it. Like you said, like, you always used to, when you were going out and you wanted to look nice, you would put a wig on, straight hair. Why can't our Afro hair be the nice, straight?
Why not?
Yeah.
Why not? So yeah, definitely changing that and combating it. And it can feel weird when you actually say it out loud and you acknowledge, because that's another thing when I was kind of transitioning from just wearing just weave to wearing also my hair out, braiding it up and saying that that's okay. Like, when I started to do that, I was like, why haven't I been doing this like
the whole time?
Like, what was the problem? I don't understand. So yeah, no, I definitely encouraged that, and I wish I did it earlier.
Yeah, and that's exactly the same for me, because I remember when I first cut my hair, I wear my hair short and natural. When I first did it, I would wear wigs for the longest time because I was so scared of how people would respond to my natural short hair and like being seen as like masculine or like whatever. And now I always say to myself, every single time I'm like doing my hair or whatever, I always say to myself, this looks so good. Why did it take me so long to love the hair that God gave me? Why?
Yeah.
It's
just the weirdest thing ever, and it's a shame. Like, I feel like, why? Like, no, because you always want to be the person that, you know, oh, like, no, I don't care.
I've been woke since the beginning.
Yeah, like, I've always been woke, but no, we all have our like kind of inner secret things that we say to ourselves, or we just do, we just comply with, like, we just
which it fills me with so much hope and so much joy that as Black people, and Black women especially, we're pushing back against the standards that have been set for us. We're pushing back against all the things that we've been told we need to do to be beautiful, and we're saying, actually, no, we're going to tell you what beauty is.
100%. It's time to argue. It's time to not have it. Like, no, you get on the train or you stay there.
Because the train is moving in a direction that is far away from what we've been told.
100%.
Yeah. And so with what we're saying about, you know, Black people pushing back and stuff, how do you feel about, because obviously you're saying that you want SilikiandCo eventually to be a space that champions our community, a space where our community find opportunities and can find, you know, help and stuff. How do you feel about the rise of these kind of Black spaces being created, and kind of a lot of people pushing back against Black spaces, saying that, you know, we're being counterproductive by isolating ourselves essentially from everything else? If we want to be productive, we need to integrate. How do you feel about comments and conversations like that, and where do you kind of sit with that thinking?
I completely disagree, because if you think about it, when you go to work, there's a lot of white people there now, aren't there? So let's look at that. They've created a space where they're able to go to work, and aside from being professional, they can just go to work. Do you know what I mean? There's always your professional setting and your social setting, but they're able to intertwine the two. I'm just professional 40 hours a week. That's long for me. That's draining.
Yeah.
I come home, like, even on my commute, I can't even just wind down.
Go. Yeah.
Think about that. Like, that's too many hours committing to being somebody
you're not.
That I'm not. And it's too tiring, because nobody is professional. Everybody just wants to relax. Like, everybody wants to go to work and do whatever. Obviously get the work done in a certain manner, but I would just ultimately want to just be myself, and I don't want to be policed. So for them to say that us creating spaces for ourselves is counterproductive, because no, it's not. In our spaces, we're doing what we need to be. What needs to be? What needs to get done? Something like that.
What a second.
What? We're doing what needs to get done. Do you know what I mean? In our spaces. So again, it's none of your business what Black people do with their time and space. Like, again, why are you trying to police that?
Yeah.
You're not.
And I think it's so true when you say about the fact that we can't just go to work. Because I remember the amount of times at work where I would have to specifically think about the tone I address people in, because I was scared that people would say she intimidated me, she made me feel scared. I had to think about the way I wear my hair that day, because I was like, well, if I wear a headscarf, it took me a good 6 months to start wearing a headscarf to work, because I was like, are they going to see this as professional? Am I allowed to do this? Even sometimes certain outfits where, you know, my bum might look a bit bigger, I was like, is this unprofessional? Even though that's just the way my body is, I'm just wearing clothes on my body. So I think that's probably one of the best arguments I've heard so far, is that there are so many spaces where as Black people, we can't just be.
Yeah, I just want to be. I just want to be there.
Yeah.
I want to be quiet. If I want to be quiet, I want to be told that I'm being standoffish. If I'm talking, I don't want to be told I'm too loud and in your face. If I'm addressing something that concerns me, I don't want to be told that I'm being aggressive.
100%.
I just want to be seen as a regular person. I don't want to stand out. I don't want to blend in. I just want to be there.
And that's unfortunately, one of the things is that whatever space we occupy a lot of the time, if it isn't a heavily Black space, we're essentially a political statement in that space, because at any time, you know, something could happen, or you could be called aggressive, rude, loud, you could be labeled, you could be. So I think it's, to me, that is what the value and the beauty in the spaces we are trying to create, is that the places we feel most comfortable are usually amongst our own.
Yeah.
Especially with Black women.
Yeah, because we literally met once. We're able to just converse. I don't know what it is. I don't know. Maybe it's just something in the melatonin. I don't know. But
melanin.
I made it up. It's the new science. I don't know. But honestly, I can just communicate with people that look like me. I can communicate better. Let's be honest.
And
I didn't. No, I could just communicate way better.
And it's the mutual understanding of, even though we're in a professional setting right now, we're speaking on a professional level as two people who own something. I'm not scared to laugh, to joke. I know that won't be seen as unprofessional. It won't be seen as. I think it's, for me, the big thing that I found, especially doing these interviews, is the simple healing that having another conversation with a Black person can bring you. Just talking, that's it. And my spirit just feels so much more uplifted, because I feel like I'm speaking to someone who gets me, someone who is rooting for me, someone who knows what I've been through, knows what I'm going. It's that shared sisterhood that I think is what.
And it's also quite frustrating as a Black person to have so much happen to your community, and then you go into work as if none of it's happening. I really get underneath my skin that you can go into work and there's these names that you know, but who's that? What do you mean, who's that? What do you mean you didn't know? It's crazy to me.
Or even just the fact that a lot of the time, the trauma that comes with what happened, we're never really given kind of time to heal. Like, you're just expected to be in work the next day, putting on that fake smile, that fake. And then if you are kind of standoffish or angry or anything, because you're going through trauma, you can't use that as an excuse almost. You just have to get on with it, do it. We're never allowed this time to heal. So
no one can understand that, because you just can't. What is it that you're trying to? I don't want your sympathy. I just don't want to be here right now. If I want to be, I just don't want to be here right now. That's being quite frank, and you don't even know why I don't want to be here.
Yeah, but I don't. I'm done.
Yeah, it's really tiring, and this.
Yeah, which is why I think that the value of these spaces and just conversations like this, to me, is becoming more and more apparent as more things happen. Because honestly, I found it really hard to connect with any other. I found it really hard to have conversations that aren't heavy with non-Black people right now, just because.
You just get kind of angry.
What? Sorry?
I kind of get very angry. I'm like.
So this is the problem that I've been having, where it's the fact that, you know, I've got all this kind of heaviness and all this, and then there's kind of just no support or no place to offload that with outside of the Black community. It's kind of starting to really weigh me down, and I think that is why I am pushing to create spaces like this where we can talk. And even the fact that I want us to all get together, everyone who's done the interviews at the end, and share and talk, because it's just that creating those networks and those places of strength and those places of where you just feel supported. Yeah,
it's very, very important, and you're definitely right. Like, when the environment becomes quite diluted, so does your experience. they try to kind of dilute it, or because they don't understand, it almost kind of seems that what you're going to is so unreal. But the fact is, it's actually real. And that's the craziness of it. So then you go home just feeling like, I can't believe that. It's 2020. I can't fathom. It's crazy. Like, it's very crazy.
So I'm just very glad that we were able to create something here where we do feel supported amongst each other, and we can have conversations like this, and because it genuinely is needed, and it's just healing.
Definitely.
And then, so the next question that I've got for you would be about being Black in the business that you're in.
Yeah.
Have you felt that being Black has kind of played any role in making things harder for you getting into the business that you're in, or even within that space, do you feel that it does bring its struggle sometimes, or is it pretty okay? And
right now, I would say gladly, I haven't like had any of those challenges yet. Obviously, I think it will probably most come across when you look at the brand. Quite clearly, it's a Black brand. And I don't want to be known as a Black brand. That is something that I'm fearful of, because people just want to make a brand and not necessarily have it attached to any political this and that and the other. Yeah, those things are going on. But you don't want to go onto someone's page and be like, oh yeah, that's the Black brand.
Yeah.
That is just such a, like, it undermines everything that they're trying to do. And as much as I have Black interwoven into my brand, I'm really much so here for the women. I'm really much so here for the kind of financial security of that, the safety of that, creating the space. I'm not just a Black brand, if that makes sense. So I think that that's what would more so be quite an interesting kind of
challenge.
Yeah, like a nuance to overcome. Like,
Yeah, because I do know that obviously we're not like dissing Black brands or what, but a lot of the time you see things like, I don't know, the successful kind of like European brands, like a L'Oreal, that isn't painted as a white brand. That's something that everyone can buy, and that's why it has the success. But a lot of the time, Black businesses are then pigeonholed into that Black business sector where other people are then scared to buy your products because it's for Black people. And I feel like a lot of the time that's what holds Black businesses back, is that it's a lot of the people just don't see why they would buy the stuff.
Because it was made for Black people, whereby if you flip it, there's loads of shampoos that I've used and tried that have worked for my hair, but aren't necessarily for Black people. If you just look and see what it's catered to, you would say, oh yeah, I need a little bit of moisturization. Oh yeah, I need that frizz to be gone. It's not, oh, this was made for white women, you can't use it. So that is definitely something that I have to be intentional with, because as much as it is a brand predominantly for Black women, it's curated so that we can have that experience. It's not just for Black women. And I don't, like you said, I don't want to be put like, because I want to get into stores. I want accessibility outside of e-commerce, meaning that I don't want to be put in a section which is literally
Black only. Yeah. Which is, I think that's the hard part sometimes when it comes to, you know, things that look after Black hair, Black skin, is that sometimes there genuinely are things that are made just for us because of the way our hair is, because of the way our skin is. But I think that's where it comes up to non-Black people to be a bit more inquisitive when it comes to our products. Like, realize when things are made for you, and you can, because for example, you've got a scalp oil and a lengthening oil. Those things can be used for anyone. That doesn't necessarily have to be just Black people. So I think it is that kind of, sometimes there's a fear in non-Black people to start delving into our products just in case things don't work out or they get called out for appropriating and stuff. But that is where the learning and the inquisitive, if you're scared of using, ask a Black person. Just say, is this something that's Black specific, or is it something that anyone can use? Just ask.
That is perfect. Like, literally ask. You know, I should get an FAQ page on my page. Let's frequently asked questions there. I will do that. But yeah, no, definitely it's about not necessarily like buying things with ignorance. Like, just because you see loads of Black people, the same way we've been seeing loads of white women, it's not going to stop me from buying it. I want to try it out because I'm interested in this product and I want to use it for myself.
Will it work for me?
Yeah, like, you won't know unless you try. So yeah,
and I think that is a massive thing that kind of a lot of Black businesses are trying to overcome, is that being pigeonholed into just, this is. And I think that's where the nuance comes in, because like I said before, sometimes it is a case where some things are specifically meant for the community, but then those are things that it literally is about having conversations and asking. Because I would much rather someone ask me, you know, before I use this and potentially appropriate or whatever, is something that can also be used for me? And I'll just happily say yes or no. That we're not always trying to fight. We're not, sometimes it literally is just a yes or no answering question.
Yeah, like you said, I'm not trying to argue. No, you can't use it. Don't use it.
Yeah, I said no, or I said yes, it's fine, cool.
You should.
Yeah,
definitely use it. It's definitely like that.
and just to wrap this up, the last question that I've got for you is, I would like to know if any young Black people who are looking to get into business, looking to launch something, looking to do something for themselves, are watching and listening. I want to know what advice you would give them.
I
came prepared.
I'm giving advice. My advice would be, one, just do it. Like, nothing, it's never going to be perfect. Like, it's never going to be perfect. And two, don't set the starting point at such a high bar that you can't achieve it. Ergo, you're pushing it back. Like, if your startup costs are way too unachievable for you, don't set it as that. You need to think and come back. Like, people appreciate the journey. Nobody just started off at $1 million. So everyone started off at 0. So always remember that people want to see the journey and people want to see things and grow with you and things like that. So there's value in that, definitely. Those are the two things that I would say.
Love that. That's such good advice. I really do like that. And I've had such a great time talking with you. Like, this has been a healing, like, we've laughed, we've been serious, it really has been a great interview. And I am really excited to see where SilikiandCo goes, because I'm literally, every time I see you post, I'm rooting for you. I want you to do well. I want this to blow up. And everything that you said that you want to happen with your brand, I am speaking it out into the universe, and I hope that it does happen, and I hope that those things come to you, because you deserve it.
100%. Amen to that. Amen to that.
So thank you very much for taking this time out to talk to me, and I know that we'll probably work together soon again, and I'm very excited to see what else we get into together, because this dynamic is something that I'm very happy with.
Bit of mayonnaise, a bit of tea and biscuits. This is, I love that.
So yeah, I'm very excited to see us work together in the future, and I wish you all the best.